Are you sometimes confused about what's charged as a photographer? Are you unsure of what is fair and what is profitable for your photography business or side income? Well, if so, this video will be very revealing, maybe triggering, but hopefully super insightful so you can start getting some clarity on quoting for your photography shoots moving forward. Be sure to watch till the end so you get full clarity on the topic of setting hourly or day rates for your creative services. G'day legends, Tom Woods here, and if you haven't seen me before, I'm a professional photographer and have been shooting full-time since 2004, and since 2019 I've started sharing my photography experience with fellow photographers that want to fast-track their success with this epic craft. So please follow along if you are a fellow photographer. So I'm getting more and more private messages lately about what I should be charging, how much per hour, what is a fair day rate, should I just get what I'm given? You know, the sort of questions that all of us photographers have asked ourselves and each other. There's not a truthful photographer in the world that hasn't doubted their quotes or second guessed their price. And the reason is that there's so many variables within this industry. And some of them I'll get into by the end of this video. But to start with, I want to just bring up one example I got this week from a younger but talented photographer via my direct messages. He landed himself his first job and wanted some advice on what he should charge the client. Of course, as you can imagine, this opportunity excited him and asked, should I charge by the job or $30 an hour? And I was like, what? Straight away I texted him back and I said, hang on, I'll get back to you in a little bit with a longer voice message. I didn't know how long ago he messaged me, so I wanted to make sure that he didn't offer the client before I could give him some guidance. So $30 an hour is pretty much the minimum wage in Australia. There are jobs washing dishes at the local restaurant that are offering $30 an hour. I got nothing against washing dishes, by the way. When I was 16, I was washing dishes from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day, so I could surf all morning and then mindlessly scrub dishes while I dreamed about the waves that I was going to catch the next day. It suited me great for the first year after I got my driver's license, but this was for a set hours in a wage environment. When you are working as a business, which all freelance photographers are, then you have to come to it from a different perspective, because $30 an hour isn't really $30 an hour. Let's break it down. So if old mate went ahead and charged $30 an hour for his photography services, let's see how profitable that would be. So depending on your annual combined income, most people are getting taxed at 32.5%. So that takes us down to $19.50. Then if you're registered for GST in Australia, another 10% isn't yours. So now we are down to $17.55. You'll probably drive your car to the job. So let's just say it's close by. And to get there and back, it's only going to average, cost you about $6. Divide that $6 by the 6 hours that you're working there, and that takes another $1 off your profit. So now we're down to $16.55. Hold on tight, peeps. We haven't even started yet. So to be totally secure as a working photographer, you really need insurance. My gear insurance costs $1,000 per year, and my public liability insurance costs $600 per year, so that's $1,600 per year total, which divide that by 365 comes to $440 a day, and divide that by 6 hours working comes to 75 cents, so that brings our total down to $1,580. Now, if you're like most photographers, you'll be investing in at least one upgrade camera, lens, or computer each year, sometimes more, but I would say an enthusiast pro would spend at least about $5,000 a year on some new device or new equipment. That amount is distilled down to $16 a day, which is further distilled to $2.30 for an amount over a 6-hour workday. So your grand total reduces to $13.50. Things are starting to get pretty lean now, but there's more to come. You need to edit these photos professionally, and most photographers use a combination of Lightroom, Photoshop, and Premiere Pro if they are doing some video as well. I pay $55 per month for the right to use these softwares, so that's about $1.80 a day, broken down to 30 cents per hour for the job, so now we're down to $13.20. You also need a software to deliver your final package of images. This is another monthly fee that needs to be worked in. My software costs around about $200 per year to do this. Also, your website fees. Every photographer that is remotely serious needs a website, and these cost at least $300 a year to have a decent website. So there's another $500. So broken down, there is another 23 cents to take off the hourly rate. So our hourly rate has now fallen to $12.97. I'm sure there's way more expenses, and I've missed many here, but you get the picture. You have also got to work in not just the time of the day, but the months, the years, sometimes the decades of learnings that go into every shoot. I can't even put a dollar value on that, but even the photographer just starting out has invested a ton of time without pay to get to a position of getting their first job. So when the moment arises, you need to start getting some of that investment back. So let's look at your $12.97 per hour. I don't know about you, but I pay rent in Noosa and ain't cheap. I pay $900 per week, so at $12.97 I would have to work 70 hours a week just to pay the rent. That's hilarious and obviously not even close to sustainable for even a few days, let alone ongoing. But even if you lifted your rate to $100 per hour, this is still not going to keep rate with the expenses you incur with a photography business and being able to survive in a place like Australia or America. I'll break down the $100 per hour a different way. For me, the first $80,000 that I earn in the financial year all goes to my photography business expenses. I don't have that many overheads really. I work from home. I do a lot of travel, but my overheads aren't that crazy. But yeah, the first 80K is just for expenses. So that means if I only charge $100 per hour, that would take me 133 days working 6 hours per day to just cover my expenses for the year. But remember, this is not a normal job where you just rock up every day and do your work. You need to land that work, and it's very rare that you're going to be booked every day. So in most cases, this first 80K is going to take you well past halfway in the year. I would say most likely you might reach your expenses around day 250 of the year. So that only leaves you the last 100 days of the year to make any sort of profit. So as you can probably see yourself, $100 an hour is not going to keep you in a photography business very long at all. So for longevity, you really need to be aiming for a day rate of around $2,500 or higher if you can. That will start to get you to the 200, 250K mark, where taking out expenses and tax, you should get an income of around 80 to 100K a year, which in Australia is only really just supporting a family at a pinch. So to get this would be 2 jobs per week or 1 big job that runs over 2 to 3 days. This might not sound much, but when you shoot for a day, you normally have a day of post-editing. You also need to be constantly pitching to new clients and handling upcoming jobs. 2 full-day jobs per week will keep a one-man show pretty damn busy. Landing 50 to 100 jobs per year is a constant work, and then fulfilling them takes time. So you can make a great living, have fun, be creative, but the privilege of having your job as a photographer won't last long if you are lowballing with your quotes. You might get more work with your lower rates, but that amount of energy will not sustain you for the long run. You're better off doing 1 job really well, 2,000, than 4 jobs at 500 to earn the same amount. Now, I know there are many ways to leverage income off your photography. This particular video is more aimed at the commercial or advertising photographer, or the photographer that works to assignment. The $2,500 per day quoted is also just a figure. A lot of photographers' day rate is north of 10K, some even more. So there's no cap really, and I don't want to limit you on this end. But the 2.5 is the mid-range, and it's starting to get to a rate that will keep you in business long term. If these figures seem too wild for you right now, that's okay. The purpose of this video is to show you what to aim for. So if you are currently charging $80 to $100 per hour, then start to increase your rates gradually so you can keep your photography business running long term. I want to see you succeed with photography, and if you take a wage earning mindset into a freelance photography business, that journey isn't going to last very long. A photography business can give a life of creativity, freedom, and a chance to connect with so many great personalities and locations, and I couldn't be more grateful for the journey so far. So I encourage you to chase it if it lights you up as well. It's worth pursuing hard, but please get strategic about it. This is my first YouTube video on the business side of photography. There is so much more behind just this topic. So let me know if you want to see more. I will be making a YouTube very soon on the amount of money your picture can generate for a business. It's super interesting and surprising as to the power of your photography. So please subscribe to not miss these future videos. And for the members inside my water photographer and confident photographer courses, we will be going deeper on these topics in our live meetups. If you want to join my photography programs, just check out the links below this video and we'll see you in the next one.